Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the After School Podcast. I'm your girl, Ray.
I'm Cam.
And we're bringing you the weekly After School Podcast where we rewind and deep dive into the seasons of Degrassi, episode by episode, and give you our raw and unfiltered opinion. Today, buddy, we have episodes 6, 7, and 8. So let's start at 6. What was going on?
Okay, so in episode 6, it starts off with the upperclassmen, and they are learning about Romeo and Juliet.
I fucking love Romeo and Juliet. So I was really excited about this episode. I'm not gonna hold you.
I was not a fan of Romeo and Juliet.
What?
I'm a realist. I'm not a romantic type of person.
Well, my teacher made it fun, so it was lit for my class. You had a different teacher. I don't know what the fuck y'all was doing.
But anyway, so Ashley gets the part as the nurse.
It wouldn't be Degrassi if she was Juliet.
But guess who is Juliet?
Oh, Paige,
the frenemy. So in the lower classmen, they are doing reports on animals. Toby and Emma, and JT peeps that Toby is like into Emma.
Yeah, it's clear that Toby is into Emma.
Everybody see it,
but Emma. Yeah. And that's much like Emma. But you know what? I'm glad that it wasn't a thing because fucking imagine.
I never saw any kind of chemistry whatsoever between Toby and Emma. It was more so like, if anything, little brother, sister kind of situation. Never saw it.
It never gave romantic interest.
No.
At all. Ever. And Toby liking her really seemed like it came out of like nowhere too.
But this is her first season. So I feel like they said it, they showed it, but then they realized people didn't care for it.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know what, we're just going to scrap that whole idea. They brought it back later on in 1 or 2 episodes in later seasons, but it never went nowhere, and thank goodness for that.
Yeah, because they're both irritating.
They are. So after they get their report, then you have the upperclassmen and sex ed.
That sex ed was wild as shit with the banana. I never understood, like, why show a banana when it's not.
Yeah, it's
the same thing.
It's not the same thing, and I don't understand why they don't just show the real anatomies, because those children have it. Like,
they know what it looked like. Yeah,
exactly.
I got shown the real thing. Not the real thing, but at least like a toy.
No, we got shown the real. Well, again, not the real thing, but we got showed the diagram of a real thing, and they showed you exactly how to put a condom on.
Yeah.
It. But we got to keep in mind, this is TV.
Sure.
And this is in Canada. I don't think they were showing that much stuff.
Is this also the scene when Spinner raised his hand and was saying something about how, like, he had a friend who him and his girlfriend had been together for 8 months, and he was trying to, how did they know that they were ready? Spinner was a wild as shit, because it was clear who he was talking about.
These people are like so weird of friendships, because I would never do that to my friend. Out her to an entire class. Never. It's just crazy to me.
Never. I told you, I feel like in Degrassi, a lot of them was friends by circumstances, not friends because they actually wanted to be friends.
I definitely understand where you're coming from with that. I get it.
It makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Because the stuff that they do to their friends, normal people would not do to their friends. But that's Degrassi for you.
So then you have like Spinner saying that. Then you also get Paige like chiming in. And it's just like, you're putting so much pressure on these 2 people.
Right. Who are in the 8th grade, by the way.
They're very young.
Yeah.
I think Ashley and them are like 13 or 14. Yeah. In that little age group. Yeah. So
it's wild when you really sit and think about it.
So of course, while you have these two people putting it in their head, they're gonna get it in their heads that they need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But a little bit off topic. We're going back in with them doing Romeo and Juliet. They're rehearsing right now, and I found it very awkward that they had children kissing.
And kissing like the way that was a kiss.
Yeah,
It wasn't like a cute little peck. She kissed that boy.
yeah, I found it very funny that they did that. I know for a fact that when we was playing Romeo and Juliet, that was not a thing.
No, I didn't
But
have to kiss anybody.
I detest. I detest.
Not for real. Um, I feel
And
like before that, there's a conversation between Paige and Terry and Ashley, in which they talking about the gifts that they was given for their anniversary, and Ashley gave this man a silver chain, and this nigga Jimmy gave her a piece of clay,
yes,
which I thought was hilarious.
he gave her a clay shaped heart.
But that's how these niggas be, friend. They don't give thoughtful gifts.
Well, some people would make the argument that that was more thoughtful than buying a chain because it came from his, he handmade that heart.
This nigga made that in art class. Stop the cap.
I'm just saying.
Stop the cap.
So, after that, you then have like Ashley feeling a little bit insecure because Paige is again Juliet and Jimmy is Romeo. So they are the ones that's kissing.
Right.
And Ashley is seeing this front and center. And so she gets more insecure about this whole situation and thinks more into the whole having sex with Jimmy thing.
And during that conversation, like there's a point in time where I think Spinner and Jimmy are talking, and they talking about Spinner is talking to Jimmy about having sex, although he had never had sex. Is kind of wild. How you preaching to me about what I should be doing with my girl, but you ain't doing nothing, my guy.
That's how kids are.
And
especially in middle school, high school kind of realm.
It's weird.
You
Why
fake it
is
till you make
sex so
it.
pushed on kids?
I don't know. I think I was going to say it's an American thing, but this is a Canadian show.
It's kids in general, but it's just weird. It's weird. It's odd to me.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you start like doing sex ed class 8th grade.
Well, I'm not so mad about the sex ed being taught because at the end of the day, kids are going to do what the fuck they want to do.
Yeah.
And you don't want them to not be educated to where they out here doing stuff and then later on they have, consequences for the stuff they do.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be taught. I'm just saying
Yeah.
I think 8th grade is a little young.
No, I actually don't think so. Because when you start thinking about when, like, oh, this is going way off topic. But when you start thinking about puberty,
Yeah.
and like the whole thing
sure.
about they get to that age where they already know something's up
Yeah.
with the area.
Yeah.
You gotta teach them.
Yeah, okay. You're right. And kids are doing stuff much younger these days. So. Me in that age,
well,
I
actually, you know what's crazy? Back in the day, kids were doing the same thing. I mean, on who people's grandparents wasn't 13 out here with several children already.
Okay, yeah, that's not cap. You're right. You're right. You absolutely.
It's just always been a human nature type of thing. It's weird to me, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, after the scene with the whole Ashley Paige Spinner, the whole sex talk thing, you then go back to Toby, and he's trying to impress Emma with, I think it was her favorite animal. He was like, "Oh, I got videos that we could watch of your favorite animal."
Toby was a simp.
He was trying to make a move, and here's Emma inviting everybody.
You know what's crazy? and we talk about this quite a lot. People reading the room. Toby clearly did not read the room he was in because he asked Emma to watch a movie. And who did Emma invite first? Sean. What? He should have read the room. And when she invited him, the look that she had on her face when she was like, Sean, do you want to come? That was a look of she want him. Toby, he didn't read it
Toby
wrong.
really thought he had a chance. Yeah. And it's so sad that he didn't.
Yeah, and what's crazy is Emma couldn't read the room either because JT was hip and Maddie was hip. Both of them peeped that Toby was trying to, get his map on with Emma. And she just was like, Sean, hey.
We're hanging out together. Like, come join us. Sean also declines this offer.
Yeah.
Because he has something else to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just still the fact that she invited him.
She tried. Emma was bold. Is that where we get to the point where Ashley and Terry was talking to each other?
Yes. So Ashley and Terry are talking to each other, and Terry is hip that Ashley's only talking about sex because people are pressuring her, and so she does the good friend duty of questioning her to make sure this is what she wants, and Ashley completely snaps on her.
And I feel like Ashley was always wild disrespectful to Terry.
Yeah, when Terry really just wanted to make sure her friend was in the right headspace.
Because this situation is not the first time, or it's definitely not the last, where Ashley has said some wild disrespectful shit to Terry. That's just like, why? Like, why? It's like they know that Terry is insecure, and so whenever she do something that they don't like, they be trying to say stuff to hurt her, and it's wild. It's wild. I wouldn't have been friends with none of these bitches, but that's just me.
Yeah, because she really did hit Terry with a low blow. So then after that, Ashley bought condoms online.
No, before that, Jimmy and Spinner went to buy condoms, which was funny as shit.
That was a funny scene.
The man behind the counter was wild as shit. And also this scene, the fact that Spinner had to like tell Jimmy to get condoms just lets you know that Jimmy ain't have no business having sex, but this man didn't even think about buying condoms.
He had no business
At all. It's
and it just shows you that two people were just being pressured.
Yeah. Pressured by people who are also not having sex.
Yes.
It's wild.
So we go back to Toby and Emma's situation. So of course Toby is setting up the thing, but Emma ends up having to do something with Liberty. So she was going to be a little late.
Right. Writing the paper?
Yeah, writing some type of paper.
Right.
So when Emma finished writing the paper with Liberty, she sees Sean. So she just goes to talk to Sean instead of going to Toby's event, which made made Toby really hurt. Like, he was hurt.
He was. But on who? Sean was always low-key teaching Emma some shit, and I think that is just beautiful, especially when Emma is the know-it-all type.
Yes.
So when Sean would just lay some knowledge on her ass and just have her sitting there thinking about some shit, that baby, it was a great time. I would have stayed with Sean too, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Toby, Sean, like, I just, something about it.
Emma dropped the ball kind of with that, and Toby was upset, confronted her, told her about herself a little bit, and she looked shocked as hell when Toby was, saying like all that.
Oh, all he did at the end of the episode, like, yeah, she was just like, what
the hell happened here?
He liked me. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And the fact that after Toby spazzed out, Manny still had to tell her, like, Toby likes you. Emma could not read a room. What is this?
So yeah, they were not on good terms at this episode. So then you have Ashley and Jimmy.
Yeah. First of all, let's talk about, we gotta say, Jimmy walking up with the condom, with a bag of condoms to her front door is wild.
He made himself look really suspicious. Like,
My man was excited. He was holding that
had
motherfucker
my
like,
mama
yes,
seen him walking with the bag like that,
a,
what's in the bag?
a
Is what she would
suspicious
have
brown
asked.
bag.
What do you have in the bag? And he would have been too upset having to open that bag
And
and
show
show
her
her.
what was in that drink too.
So he was being a hot boy.
He was hot boy, especially since he had a book bag on.
Yeah. He had pockets. He had a lot of things that he could have hid that bag in.
No, for real. So to me, the whole scene with them was awkward. You could tell neither one of them was really into it. It was just kind of like, I feel like Jimmy was gonna do it if she
Yeah.
had like been with it, but you could tell he didn't really.
And I feel like a huge weight was lifted off of both of their shoulders
Yeah.
when they both realized that, hey, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah,
Like,
we don't really have to do it. I'm glad that they didn't.
yeah.
Yeah. Because usually, well, maybe not. This is first season. But usually in Degrassi, stuff goes further than it needs to go. But this time, I like that he did not rush her. It was actually kind of sweet to watch. Like, you could tell when she was like, nah, I really don't want to do this. My nigga Jimmy was like, oh, God. Thank you, bro. I'm so happy that you said that. Because
Yes.
I don't want to do this neither. It was beautiful.
It was.
Them blowing up the condoms was
It was
like,
funny.
yeah.
So
It
childish.
it shows you, yes, and that's the whole kill about it. All this childish ass shit y'all doing, and y'all worried about trying to have sex. What the fuck? Like, it don't even make sense. These kids were put in situations that was just like, I mean, it happens to everybody. It does. Peer pressure is a real thing. I'm just happy that it didn't get the best of them. Toby coming in like after seeing them blowing up the condoms and was like, I forgot what exactly he said to Jimmy, but my man's was sick. He was down bad about Emma, boy. He was in his feelings. It was funny.
Yeah, he was. And, that happens. Your crush is not going to always like you. So
Yeah.
I feel like this taught Toby something.
Yeah. Yep, it sure did.
So I think that's the end of episode 6, right?
Yeah, that's kind of how it ended. They didn't
Okay.
have sex. Toby got his heart broken.
Yeah, so
The end.
the end.
Oh, so okay, we have episode 7 now.
Yes.
Yeah, this is when we find out that ball is life for Jimmy.
Oh my goodness. So the episode starts off with Jimmy Spinner and Sean trying out for basketball practice.
Right.
And Jimmy is a little bit worried about his performance. I don't think a lot of people understand, like, when you're a athlete and you're a student at the same time, those things can be stressful.
Right.
So he was just like, I feel like I'm slipping because I still have to do this work. So that was the problem there. And then when he gets to class, Miss Kwan is warning him like, "Hey, your grades are slipping."
Right.
So not only is his basketball performance a little bit slippery, even though it really wasn't that bad, Spinner was trying to get him to understand he was good and he was going to make the team, but in his head he wasn't his best.
Right.
So, but not only that, your grades are now slipping, and this man, I felt bad for him.
He thought, Jimmy pretty much thought that basketball was more important than school.
Yeah.
And I understand where he's coming from, because when you're an athlete like that, and like the sport that you're doing is something that you're really passionate about, or you're like Jimmy who thinks that, like, because I feel like Jimmy was really into basketball. Like, he thought like he was gonna be a basketball player.
Yeah.
Yes. So like when it's like that for you and you're really passionate about some shit like that, other stuff might fall off. So I kind of understand, but at the same time, it's never more important than school. Hey, you want to be smart.
Yeah, but it just shows you his age. Right now, you know, basketball is definitely more important in school. When you get older, you're definitely going to learn that it's not.
Yeah.
So after that scene, you have the lower classmen um admiring Ashley. Like Emma, I think it was Manny, JT, and them was just like talking about how great Ashley was at the morning announcements.
Yeah, but before the scene when she's doing the morning announcements, you see that Liberty wrote all the shit she said.
Yes.
And even Ashley taking credit for her jokes is wild as shit.
Yeah, it was.
They should have at least said jokes by Liberty Valentine, like something. Give my
Gave
girl
her some credits.
Right. But they did nothing for her. And so immediately when Ashley took credit of her jokes, I knew this was gonna be an episode where we shit on Liberty. As usual. Because that's what they like to do in this show.
They do. And then, you know, Emma, of course, being the advocate she is, Emma sits there and says, Liberty, Ashley is getting all your credit and you do all of this work. Mm-hmm. So you have Emma at least saying it for what it is. And so Emma suggests Liberty to talk to Ashley, and then Sean suggests that Liberty just quit.
Which I would have went with Sean.
But an impulsive thinker would go with Sean. Just quit.
Yeah, quit.
But somebody that's like Liberty was passionate. Liberty was passionate about this, and you could tell from day one she was. So she was definitely more so, I'ma talk to this girl before, you know, I do anything drastic.
Right. Is the next scene we have where they're in class, the upperclassmen, and Miss Kwan calls on Jimmy and like asks him about something in the book, and my man didn't even know.
At all, because he didn't read the book.
One thing I learned from being in school, most of the books that we read, I did not read. But a bitch at least knew how to skim that motherfucker and know what was going on.
At least the characters.
I mean,
I knew exactly what was going on in the chapter. At least a summary of it. Because
that's what
teachers was playing. Teachers was playing around. They would try to quiz you so fast.
Yeah.
So you needed to hide your wits up.
Yeah. And this scene just kind of showed you that all Jimmy needed to do was focus. If he had put half as much effort into school as he put into basketball, my man would have been perfectly fine.
Yeah, and so because his grade, like Miss Kwan is like noticing the grade slip, he thinks even more so that he's not going to be able to play basketball due to his grades as well.
Right.
So this is putting way more pressure on him than anybody else.
We also learned that Spinner had ADHD.
Yeah.
And
he's taking
medicine, Ritalin. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
Same. But it makes sense.
Yeah. It does. But you know what's crazy? They never mention it again. Like it's never brought up.
You know what? Yeah, you don't really see him taking no pills for it because this time he's authorized to take pills. Like he has to.
Yeah. This is where we learn, like, you know, he gets called out of class to go take his pills and stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, why it was never brought back up, I don't know.
They probably forgot. This was probably just to show Jimmy's, you know, true passion for basketball.
Gotcha.
So after that you have Liberty, and she goes to Ashley and she confronts her.
Ashley was rude as hell to Liberty.
Yeah, because Liberty only just wanted some airtime.
Yeah. But part of me feels like Ashley kind of knew that Liberty wouldn't be good on air. And instead of just saying, like, Liberty, I don't think that, you know, this would be a job for you, it's kind of really difficult. She took the rude way and was coming at her real disrespectfully for no reason.
Yeah, it was uncalled for. And you just see that Ashley is not as perfect as they try to make her seem in this episode. I mean, not in this episode, this season.
Right.
So,
after that, she eventually does be like, okay, yeah, fine, whatever. which I thought was also wild as shit because it could have been a conversation because like that shit gets on my nerves. I'm not even gonna get into it. Let's go back to Spinner and Jimmy.
Okay. So Jimmy is getting more stressed.
Yeah.
About the basketball and the school, having to juggle them both. And then he has this bright idea, very smart idea, is to take Ritalin.
Big brain. We're being sarcastic. I don't know if you know, but that's what that is.
Sarcasm.
It was really dumb.
It was stupid.
And you know what's wild? That was Spinner's last pill. Okay? This man, Jimmy, was willing to take his man's, like, prescribed medication.
Yeah.
To play basketball. My man's couldn't get some coffee?
Nope.
What? He couldn't get an energy drink? Like, it didn't make sense.
And it also shows you that, again, like, they're not as good of friends as you think they are.
No, not if you're willing to take my last bit of medication that keep me on track.
You keep me sane.
What the fuck?
Because Spinner, off the Ritalin, you saw exactly what he was.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Can we talk about how when Jimmy took the pill, he was being a hot boy?
Yes, he was.
He took that pill like threw that motherfucker back and drinking water. He might as well have did it in front of Miss Pond. Stood in front of her and just swallowed that J back. What the fuck? Bruh. The way, this episode is just wild. And it shows you, low-key, Jimmy and Spinner were really not friends. Mm-mm. If you really sit and think about it, that's why in the later seasons when, shit hit the fan, I don't know why people were so like, oh, but Jimmy and Spinner were best friends. Where the fuck did y'all get that from? My man took his last pill. What last pill? Bro? What? Go ahead.
Did not care about what that would do to Spinner.
No.
At all.
Bro.
So, the effects of the Ritalin is affecting both of them.
Yeah.
Like, Jimmy is, like, doing a lot, and Spinner is doing too much. Like,
they was both lit. They was out here.
It's surprising how fast Ritalin works.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought that
if I was anti-drugs, of course.
Yeah.
But,
sure.
If I wasn't, maybe Ritalin would be my go-to.
Is Ritalin like what's that? It's one of them upper things. I can't think of the name.
Like oh shoot,
you know what I'm trying to? Yeah, like Adderall. Is it like that? Know. It seemed like it.
Cause I would also have said I'm anti-drugs.
Period. Say no to drugs, kids.
Say no all the time.
Yeah.
But Adderall could have got it too.
If I did drugs.
If I did drugs.
I don't.
No drugs here.
Okay, so we get, oh my gosh. The scene with Liberty doing the morning announcements actually was cruddy as fuck for not telling her that the camera was on while she was making all them faces and stuff.
Yeah.
What happened to 3, 2, 1?
Exactly.
You just gonna have the camera rolling on this girl and not tell her that people could see her?
That was vicious. That was.
I felt so bad for Liberty.
I did too. I really love Liberty. I'm a Liberty fan. Period. Because sis knows what she wants. Yeah. She's a hard worker.
Yeah. She was the only one who had been the same way from episode 1, from the first time you saw her.
Yeah.
Until the end. Liberty was that bitch.
She was always about her stuff.
About her business. Okay?
Okay.
People played with her.
So, you had Spinner mooning the crowd.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have his medication to properly be okay.
His dancing, he got it too.
Yeah. And so Spinner, of course, gets in trouble for it.
Yeah.
And that's when Mr. Radish, calls him out on not taking his pill.
And you know what? we gotta give Mr. Radish some credit because I know this man was tired of these kids. He had been a teacher there since Degrassi Junior High.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd been dealing with this bullshit at this school for years. He has to be sick. Because I would be. Every day is something different.
Every day.
I would have quit. I would have
quit while I was ahead.
When they offered me to be the principal, I'd have said, nah, nope, not gonna do that. Don't want to be the principal here.
I felt the same way, and I had the same energy as Mr. Simpson. Like, I would have quit as Mr. Simpson as well. Because he gets put through a lot.
They put him through a lot. They dragged my man through.
For him not to be a principal until later on in the season.
Yeah.
He was just a teacher and he was getting drugged through the mud.
Yeah, for no reason. Well, was he a principal before Emma and them left?
He might have been filling in, and then he became official principal.
Gotcha. Because I feel like it was a couple principals before he became principal.
Well, not a couple. It was Radish, and then it was the lady,
Miss Patalakos, and then they had remember the teacher the principal who was weird with, was it Casey?
That was his coach.
It was? You sure?
Yeah, I believe it was his coach.
I thought it was the chef. No, that was the principal.
Oh, okay.
Or was it?
I have no idea.
Child, okay, whatever. We'll get there eventually. Yeah. But so Mr. Radish calls out Spinner pretty much for not taking his medicine because Spinner was being a hot boy and Jimmy was being a hot boy. They got caught for being hot boys.
Yeah. Jimmy also just did way too much. Yeah. When he was playing basketball, fouled his own teammate.
Wow.
And then thought nothing was going to happen.
Did he push Sean?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Which is bold as fuck because we know him and Sean, they got beef. Sean could have took him if he wanted to, but you know what?
He was being a bigger person at that time.
He was.
Didn't want to get sent back to juvie.
Period.
But yeah, so he wins the scoring shot, but by pushing his own teammate.
Right.
So that did not look well. Right. And of course, Mr. Armstrong had to discipline him. You cannot just be like, okay, that's cool. You won the shot. So, of course, he didn't make it to the basketball.
Which is sad because this whole episode was about him trying to make it on the basketball team and didn't even make it.
How did he listen to Spinner?
Yeah.
In the very beginning when Spinner was like, you're good as is, and just kept his academics going.
Yeah.
He would have gotten somewhere.
What?
And that's the real tea. So, then you have Liberty. She does a good job on the next announcements.
Yes, so before that, there's a couple scenes throughout the Jimmy and Spinner stuff in which Ashley does go and kind of apologize to Liberty because she sees that Liberty is being made fun of, and which Liberty did not deserve at all. It was really fucking cruel. I always have felt so bad for Liberty, just like I say all the time. But so she feels bad, so she's telling Liberty, like, you know what? I'm going to teach you how I do the announcements, and you're going to do a good job the next time. And so, Liberty does get a chance to do it again, and she does a good job. And, I started thinking to myself, maybe Ashley is not that bad. And then I quickly changed my mind and was like, nah, she's still horrible.
Yeah, here's the thing. They always do some good shit.
Yeah.
To, make their bad shit look less good.
Yeah.
But does that really show your true character?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, not really.
Nah, not if
you're only doing it to, appease yourself, to make yourself feel better. Mm-hmm. You didn't do it from the beginning.
I don't know.
You're a good person.
Yeah.
So
is that? I think that's the end of episode 7, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
that's kind of where it ends. I think Liberty and Ashley come to some sort of agreement that, like, I'm going to do the announcements and, you'll be able to do it next year.
Exactly.
And that's where we do that. I really feel like Ashley could have been like, oh, once a week, yeah, you sure.
Once a month,
you can do the announcements, like, sure. But you know what?
Or they could have just shared.
You take what you can get from Ashley. So there's that. And I think we already said the whole ending of both Jimmy and Spinner get in trouble.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that Spinner should have got in trouble, but whatever. If I was Spinner, I'd have been like, he stole that shit from me. But you know what?
Yeah. He at least didn't. He didn't want to mess up his friend.
Shit.
But
I'd
Jimmy
like,
definitely
he stole my pill.
Jimmy definitely should apologize to Spinner.
And he didn't.
That was wild.
Yeah. Wow. So I guess that means now we about to move on to episode 8.
Yes.
Ooh, almost at the end, y'all. Almost at the finish line.
So episode 8 starts off with Ashley, and she's very excited with her dad. Mm-hmm. He's coming to speak to the school about something. And you see here that Ashley mom and her dad have like a really good relationship. Like, it's polar opposite of what Toby and his dad was facing with Toby's mom. Like, nowhere near it. Ashley and her dad, like, Ashley's mom and her dad are fine. Mm-hmm. And it's great to see that. Mm-hmm.
Ashley's dad seemed sus.
Didn't we find out he was sus?
I mean, but no, not yet. But like before that, sus. I got sus vibes from it.
Really?
You didn't?
When Ashley's mom was like, "Did you speak to your dad about something?"
No, I got sus.
I was like, "Oh, dang, what can he be?" And then I was like, maybe he's gay, and he just hasn't told anybody yet. But anyway, then you have JT and them in class together. I think it was JT, Emma, Manny, and all of them.
Yeah.
Lower classmen.
Period.
And JT is dumb and throws a paper airplane at Mr. Simpson. Point blank range. Like, to this man's face. Like, it was disrespectful. And Mr. Simpson apparently did not see that man throw an airplane at his face. No. So then we find out here in this scene that Liberty has a thing for JT.
Yeah, Liberty was in love.
He was head over heels.
My bitch knew what she
for that
wanted.
scrawny little man.
Period. JT should have been grateful that somebody liked his ass.
Because he was scrawny. Toby had more meat on him.
But JT was a little cutie, so I could see why Liberty was feeling the way that she might have been feeling. Okay.
So after that, you have JT kind of like questioning why Liberty took the blame. Yeah, took the blame for throwing the airplane. Kind of everybody's kind of like, oh, she's into you.
Yeah, she likes you. Is it not obvious?
Yeah. And so JT comes to terms that he doesn't like her, just off the strength. He just like, I don't like her. Yeah, that's a no. Yeah. I don't know if it's because she was considered a nerd, but in that realm, I'm like, JT, you are also a nerd. Yeah, you hang out with Toby. Yeah, who's a big nerd. And Emma, who's a nerd. I think they just, he was oblivious to who the hell he was.
Exactly. For sure. Was the poem thing
like right after that? Yes.
Okay. So, first of all, Sean was poetic as fuck. Daddy. Sean was doing it to be like, he was getting his grade. Okay?
Yes.
Then you had Miss Liberty Van Zandt. This girl wrote a poem about JT.
A love poem, you guys.
And performed it for the whole class. My girl was confident.
She was bold. She's bold, because I would have never did it.
Never. I would have never found it in my spirit to do something like that. Absolutely not.
it goes to show you that Liberty's just been this bold since day one.
Yeah.
She knew what she liked and she decided, I'm gonna try to get it.
She knew what she liked and got what she liked. Okay.
She got it. Eventually.
She got it along with a host of other things.
A lot of problems.
Ooh, child.
We're going a little too fast.
Yeah. We'll keep it where we're at for now.
So
do we go to actually thinking that her parents might get back together?
Yes.
So can we talk about how weird that kiss was? Between her mom and dad.
Yeah, I could definitely understand why Ashley was like, oh my gosh, they might be together again.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, Ashley's wild as shit because he, like, Toby's dad just moved in. Like, just moved in like 2 months ago, probably. And you're like, already, like,
were they married?
I want to say they were married. Like, and you're already like, oh snap, this is awesome. My parents might get back together.
Paper ain't even dry yet. And actually talking about her mom and dad getting back together. She's wild.
Yeah, like she thought her mom was wild, is what she thought.
No, for real.
So yeah, she thinks that they're under the impression that they're getting back together because Ashley's mom was like, they need to talk. His dad needs to talk to her.
Right.
Then
her mom was in the kitchen. She told her, she was telling her, like, you need to talk to your dad. And, Ashley was like, well, talk to him about what? And I feel like somewhere in that conversation, her mom said something about her dad being gay.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so the next day at school, when Paige had walked up to her and was like, hey, Ashley, like, I was thinking when you said the other day that your dad doesn't have anybody and this, that, and the third, I was thinking, like, could he be gay? And then Ashley said some wild, disrespectful shit back.
Yes.
That's what it was. Okay.
So, yeah, you had that.
Right.
And then you have, bring it back to JT and Liberty's situation.
So you had JT told Emma and Manny that he wasn't really feeling Liberty. And I wrote down that I thought it was wild as shit that Emma and Manny were supposed to be friends with Liberty.
Yes.
And they didn't think to tell her that JT didn't fuck with her like that, which is wild.
Yeah, it is.
Because they knew for a fact JT wasn't messing with her.
Like, he was totally against it. There was no convincing that man.
Yeah. And then afterwards, there was a conversation with JT and Toby, and where they had found out that Ashley's dad was gay. And then JT is like, well,
let me play gay.
Yeah.
To get Liberty off my case, pretty much.
Right.
And he is so horrible. He is doing all the gay scenarios, stereotypes. And that is so bad. But you can tell he's young as shit.
JT was so wrong for that.
Yeah.
So wrong. And poor Liberty, once again, she deserved better.
Yeah, because she definitely did get hurt by JT supposedly being gay.
Yeah.
And then she denies that she even had feelings for him. Because
I would feel wild as shit thinking I had feelings for somebody and then they tell me that they was gay. I would be like, oh no, that's not what it was. You thought I liked you? No.
Exactly.
That wasn't what it was. Exactly. I don't want nobody to think that my gaydar is like off. Everybody has one. I thought the situation, I feel like after that, we have when we go to Ashley's dad and her having a conversation. And Ashley's upset, as she should be, because her dad needed 5 years.
5 years.
To tell her that he was gay.
Yes.
Had her hanging out, like going places with his partner and like really like
living his best life.
Yeah.
Say it how it is. He was living his best life, child free.
Yeah.
All because he was worried about her reaction to him being gay.
Yeah.
My thing is, though, as a father, your sexuality did not have to come into terms with raising your child. You could have just kept that shit private and still been a part of your child's life. Instead, you left her for 5 years.
Yeah.
To me, that screams deadbeat behavior.
Period.
Like he really just didn't care about being a father.
It gives deadbeat for real.
So I feel bad for her in that kind of situation because I don't think any child would care nearly as much if their dad was gay.
No.
More than the fact that their dad just not being there in their life.
I would care. I feel like I wouldn't care if like one of my parents was gay. I feel like what would hurt my feelings more is the fact that you thought that you couldn't tell me.
Yeah. And then also you thought you couldn't tell me for so long that you decided to just stay away from me. It would
Right.
just make me feel unwanted and make me feel like, you never really cared enough.
Right. Right.
So yeah. I think that was weird.
It was. So we go back to the whole JT thing and trying to be pretend as though he's gay whenever Liberty pops up. And I think it's like really it shows how childish JT
Yes.
really is because how long did he think that he was going to be able to play gay?
Yeah, I think he just thought he was gonna be doing it for the rest of his life.
Like what did you not think that at some point you was gonna have to say I'm not gay? Was he willing to just be gay?
who knows?
And the fact that he didn't like Liberty so much that he was gonna pretend to be gay is wild.
It was very childish.
And when
Because
I
you could have
found
just
out, I would
told
feel
me.
so disrespected. You don't like
coulda-
me that much?
Yeah, you could have just told me.
Yeah.
Save the embarrassment.
Yep.
Um, so Liberty tries to convince him to come out the closet. I think that was her trying to,
Yeah. Liberty
make
was pissed.
sure. She was trying to see if he was for real gay. And so,
And
just
is
go
this the
ahead.
scene where he kind of like spazzes out and it's like he's not really gay and
Yeah,
this, that, and the third? JT had no right. And if I was Liberty, I would have been so upset.
it just was messed up.
It was. It wasn't necessary at all. And she wasn't even bad. Like nothing was Liberty did come on strong to JT. And I feel like JT was kinda at an age where maybe men are not men, but I don't know what I'm trying to say. Guys are not necessarily
Mature.
mature enough to handle a girl who is as straightforward as Liberty was with her shit.
Yeah, because most men think that it's their job to be straightforward, and the women are supposed to be like the mouse. They're supposed to be the cat.
Yeah. So like I that's what I think it was about Liberty. But the whole kill about that is ain't that one of the things that JT like likes about her when they actually do get together?
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
He was just too young to understand that. I
Well,
think that's what it was.
that's true.
And I feel like he was also on that whole she's a nerd thing. And
Yeah.
I don't want to be with a nerd. Whole
Yeah.
time you're a nerd, sir.
Yeah. Nerd.
So what's the scene after that?
I feel like oh, is that where Ashley was talking to Terry?
Yes, I
Bruh.
believe so.
Terry was spitting some real shit at Ashley. Even though the situation with her dad was wild as shit, when Terry was like, you're mad at your dad, but my mom is dead.
Yeah, like I don't get a chance to be mad at her.
Yeah, like and you're like really thinking about not talking to him and not like, engaging in a relationship with your dad when I don't have the choice to do that with my mom.
At all.
And she was pretty much telling Ashley that she was being a little dramatic.
I see. Here's the thing. I definitely get where Terry is coming from with the whole your parent is alive. You should be grateful and you know happy about that. But you gotta keep in mind that Ashley hadn't seen her father in 5 years, and then just to hit you like that with a whole other shock. It's just, I could understand why right now at this time she didn't want to talk to him. Like I said, I would have been hurt had my dad been gay and just decided not to tell me and wait 5 whole years to not see me, not do anything for me, and then come out and say it and be like, this is the reason why I didn't want to see you. Like, I'd be like, that was so unnecessary.
Right.
You could have told me this and we could have been making memories this whole 5 years you were gone.
Right.
So I just think that
but
Terry had a good point, but I think Ashley also had a right to be upset with her dad at this point in time.
I'm not never gonna say that I feel like that I feel like she didn't have the right to be upset. I just feel like Ashley always had a tendency to like be extra.
She does.
And like she always took it like it would be to the point where you would be on her side and you would be there with her, but she would just take it an extra mile that would just be like, bitch, you had me. I was there. We saw eye to eye, and then you did some extra shit for what?
You're right.
She was he made a bad choice. And I'm not saying that he didn't make a bad choice. He did. However, two wrongs don't make a right.
But you also gotta remember that this is a child's point of view. Children are not going to see that two wrongs don't make a right.
Her friend tried to tell her.
Children are going to be like, oh yeah.
Well, you can't even say that because Terry was telling her, hey, just because he did this don't mean that you got to do that.
But Terry understands because, again, she lost a parent. She doesn't have that privilege that Ashley has, and that's why she's like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid of you to like be so upset over this when you could not have him at all. But imagine like another child that has two parents and then didn't lose a parent. They would probably still be on Ashley's side, like, yeah, screw him. Terry doesn't have that privilege.
That's true.
I understand where Terry is coming from though, and I definitely think that Ashley should make amends with her dad, even though he made a mistake. Mm-hmm. You know, forgive and
parents
potentially go over, get over it.
Mm-hmm. I feel the same way, buddy. I feel the same way.
Yeah. So I think that was the end of that episode as well.
Yeah, this was a you know, some cute little episodes. It was okay. Child. Anyway, so it's looking like that's the end of the episode.
Yep.
Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to turn on your post notifications so that you can be updated, you know, on when the podcast will be released. You could be the first one to watch. Yeah.
Bye. Bye.